It's a Brave Stadium.
Hmm.
How do you
Well,
see
good
it back
morning,
there?
everybody.
You're in the Brave Stadium or around it at
No,
least? Yeah.
yeah, it's right behind me.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, guys. This is the weekly live stream we're doing here. Co-host is Brian White from Future Ozza and Nick Gibbs from Investing Against the Grain. Woo! Are you in a good mood or bad mood, Nick? Or how about this? Are you optimistic or pessimistic?
Oh, I'm always optimistic.
I think Nick is always optimistic. I would say 2024 I thought was a pretty interesting year, but I think 2025 is an exciting year, downright exciting, because we're seeing, as the title of the video suggests, a convergence of technologies that by themselves are all pretty interesting, pretty exciting, but when you add them all together, you get a real chemical reaction that makes it something else entirely. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about.
That's what we're going to talk about. And so that's why I'm getting so pumped at this point, right? We just heard Elon and XAI launch and demo the smartest AI in the world. Now, okay, they're going to debate whether or not it really is at the top or not. Even if it isn't number one, it's right at the top. And I think more importantly, right, they shared that this is 200,000 H100 equivalent compute, and they're already working on the B200s. It only took them like 92 days to get this next 100,000 up. So you've got the largest supercomputer in the world. You got the smartest AI. So here's Tesla being able to take advantage of the XAI's smartest computer in the world. They're going to integrate into Tesla cars, right? Elon has confirmed that that's coming. You're going to have the smartest bot in the world. You're going to have the smartest, best full self-driving in the world. It's like, how can you not be excited about what this company is doing? It's like if they didn't have the best smartest AI in the world, I would be very concerned that this is a real leap in change in terms of where Tesla's headed. But they do, like out of nowhere, Tesla became to do this. I'll share this screenshot here of what Elon shared there, but you can see how fast these the progress of a Grok. So this is the table here specifically where Grok just came out in 2023. What is it, 19 months ago? And it's now equivalent to what OpenAI has been working on for several years, and it might be one of the best out there. So this, I think, speaks. This is the graph of Tesla and Elon Musk specifically, right? He can make, when he puts his mind to it and he decides to get something done, it will become the best in the world. It's going to do it at record speed. So talk me down. Am I being too bullish now?
No, I was gonna say, I didn't like when they showed this graph. I think there's an inaccuracy in it
Okay.
uh, to the conservative side. Um,
Ooh.
I understand why they showed this one with their talk track, but the way you just talked about it, I would disagree because really what you're seeing is the progression up to Grok 2. The question is, when you show that, where's Grok 3 now
Oh,
on that
interesting.
timeline,
Yeah.
right?
Interesting. That's a good catch. Because Grok 3 was run through some tests the other day. I saw it. It's the first AI to score over 1,400 on some tests. I don't know what the test was. But that is pretty impressive for a new entrant to do that.
Yeah, this is Chatbot Arena. So what this is actually people who are playing with different chatbots don't know which chatbot gave which answer, and then they would rank the answers. So this is a blind test, and the people who played in the game, they rated early Grok 3 to be the best.
Wow.
So when you've got the smartest AI in the world about to integrate into Tesla cars and Tesla bots, and then of course, do you believe when Elon says that it's unlikely that other AIs will beat us at this point because we're going to continue building out the compute, and the scaling laws is showing that the more compute does get you smarter AI. And so if you are, it's like a race who can build the most compute. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it other than just pure compute power, but it is certainly one of the things that Elon is saying. Scale is what matters, and they're scaling fast. So, are we now at the point of exponential growth in terms of not only intelligence, but the value it is going to provide to our cars and our bots?
I mean, so let's look at one of the things that I've been saying that Grok and really AI can do is traffic management. Well, that's easy. Google Maps has been doing traffic management for years. No, I don't mean my traffic. I mean all traffic. I mean all of the logistics of picking up people in cybercabs, all of the logistics of moving freight in a way that's cost effective. You know what? The mega charger at the next off ramp doesn't have any open stalls. I'm going to drop my speed down to 50 and conserve, get more miles per watt hour because there's no open stalls. What am I in a rush for? It's not like I'm getting sleepy. Those are all very big, messy, organic looking problems that something like a large language model can potentially address. It's what Amazon's been trying for years, getting their swarm of deliveries to get where they need to go at just the right time. And even with all that time, all that experience, and all that effort and money thrown at it, they're still pretty good. They've got room for improvement. And I think that's an area Grok could excel.
I would say Amazon's pretty damn good, personally.
You
Uh, Talk about
don't live
book.
in my town. I am 40 miles from the nearest distribution center, and things are fine.
Um, yeah. So going back to your question, Herbert. Um, I was talking to a friend of mine literally this morning. We were in
Mm.
Starbucks talking about it. He had no idea about this Grok release. Um, it's just so funny. It's just like par for the course, right? Anything related to Musk, it seems like people just don't know about. But with regards to the catch up, right? Have you guys been using it? Have you guys
Yeah,
been using Grok 3?
I've been playing with it all
I've
last night
yeah,
and this morning. Yeah.
I've played
And
with it. I haven't used it in any meaningful way.
Hmm.
so, something that I don't like about LLMs is that you almost know when someone's using an LLM, right? There'll be like certain ways that they say things or certain words that they'll use that's just not really like the easiest example I can think of off the top of my head is like, hey, write me this email. And it says, okay, sure. Dear Herbert. It's like, okay, no one actually starts an email like that. Like, come on. Right? Like it's like little things like that, but you can find that in general, right? So
Yeah.
you'll use it to do a certain thing, then you'll take that, you'll be like, okay, that's kind of good enough. Maybe you'll say, hey, sound a little more like this, sound a little more like that. Okay, close enough. Let me take that. Let me change it a little bit to sound more human or more organic, more like me. I feel like with Grok 3, it just gets it. It just does
Yeah.
it. And not
Yeah.
just that, but it answers questions
Yeah.
with nuance and in totality.
Yeah.
And the clarity and efficient use of words to convey a message, I feel like it, it's so hard to understand. Like, okay, well, what's so much better? It's like it it's just more concise. It's just answering better. It's more succinct. It's more accurate. So I think that's really impressive. And just seeing the rate of scale, and this is what we were talking about Starbucks this morning, that rate of scale that we're seeing, um, I don't know how anybody else can compete seeing where they are now. Because not only did they have to do what they did, but they were coming from behind. And so they're coming from behind, and now they have
Mm.
such a big lead, but they're not slowing down. I mean, to go from 100,000 in 120 days to doubling
Another
that again
100,000
in
in
90
92
days,
days. Yeah.
that's ridiculous. And so and going back to what Brian was saying, I actually really I don't love the idea of how people are thinking of Grok within the vehicles. I think that's gonna manifest in a different way, which we can talk about in a little bit if you want.
Let's
But
talk about it.
I think
Yeah.
but I think Brian's actually spot on what he's saying. Um, LLMs aren't great necessarily. LLMs themselves aren't great for what Brian was talking about. But when you create agents, you need to have a underlying LLM that is being used as really the muscle behind everything. And so to Brian's point, hey, I just dropped someone off, that could trigger or invoke a function to go make a call to then work through this agentic work stream that triggers the next thing, right? And so that becomes kind of a workflow that can exist. And this is where I think that it's going to go. And I honestly hadn't even thought about that, Brian. And I think that's such like when I hear you say that, I'm like, oh my God, that's clearly what's going to happen. That's clearly what they're going to do. They're not going to
Yeah.
have people in there managing this. They're literally going to build these different agent workflows to orchestrate all of this. It's like it's funny. I honestly like sometimes I hear these things. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. That was so obvious. And then when you said, I'm like, oh, it's clear in my mind now. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. This is not just an LLM that you're plopping into a car. So now you can ask it questions and it's going to give you answers. And then if that's the case, oh, that's no worries. Riven can then partner with OpenAI and get ChatGPT there, and you can talk to it too, and it's going to talk to you
Mhm.
back. This is way more than this. It's going to be used in throughout Tesla's business. It's going to be used throughout Tesla's robo taxi. And I think it's going to be this relationship you have with a car that is deeper that we're even expecting, right? Like Igor, one of the guys that was in the presentation here, this guy here, he was saying that the guy on the left, he said that it's not just text to speech, right? So if you can see his name, and I think it was calling it Igor or something like that. He goes, no, call me Igor, and he told the Grok how to pronounce his name. And it wasn't just reading the text. Otherwise, it'll just read the text and try to pronounce it this way. Once it's learned the way he wants it, it then starts calling him that. So it's going to have memory, and it's going to have all this kind of understanding of not only the environment and the context, but you, the person in the car, what you want, what you need, and what you've decided in the past. So this is like, what other LLMs is going to have that much integration between the LLM itself and the actual vehicle, right? And it's going to be Tesla that's going to be able to explore all sorts of different features and functions that you wouldn't even have thought of.
So there's a huge disconnect between understanding and pretending to understand. A test I gave Grok was tell me a joke about, and then I would give it very specific things. And while the jokes still weren't funny, I could at least see the mechanics are there. It gets the concept of a joke. It just doesn't yet have an understanding of what makes a joke work. And that's fine. That's a very, very difficult task. Getting a car to talk to you is easy. You can tape a speak and spell to your steering wheel if you want, but getting it to actually do something meaningful, to actually predict what you want it to do it in the background, and then ask for consent to, I noticed that you were driving all day and never went anywhere that was lunchy. Do you need lunch? Do you need me to look for lunch places on the way? That's going to happen.
Yeah. So maybe I can explain how I think it's gonna. And again, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. I don't. This is just me hypothesizing. Um, but I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have a derivative of the existing Rockfady model, and that derivative is gonna be it's gonna make the mini version of these models look large. All right, it's gonna be so small, and it's gonna be focused on doing very specific things. So like within the car, you know, just turn this on, turn that off, open this, etc. Right, things like that, basic commands within the car. It'll probably have a certain domain set around, hey, just pull over here. Hey, drop me off here. Things like that. Or hey, not this gate, the next gate. Like little things like that pertaining to like drop off, pickup stuff. And then I imagine it will also be able to do certain things like saying, "Hey, find me a Starbucks along my route that's or find me a gas station along my route that has a Starbucks in it and a supercharger," right? Like something like that. But I think that's going to be kind of the extent of what we'll have in the vehicle. I think for everything else, there will be kind of a step function where if you ask it all of a sudden, like, "Hey, who was the 30th president of the United States and what was his wife's name? Okay, well then it's gonna take a few more seconds, and it's gonna have to call out to the cloud for something
I'll
like
have to
that.
call. Sure.
Yeah, so I think it's
Yep.
gonna be kind of a step function like that, and I think that's
Nice.
how it's gonna manifest
Yep.
until you get to hardware 5 or the dedicated vehicles that are built, for autonomy. I think that will probably have a way more robust um, compute set so that you can have more intelligence within the vehicle. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it sounds
Maybe they'll
right.
just go straight
Sounds
to
right.
cloud, but they
Yeah.
might go straight to cloud. I don't know, but
Yeah. But
See,
what
what I'm looking forward to is the day when you can ask not just complicated, but nuanced questions like, which president had a pet with the most interesting name? Interesting is subjective, and I think we are closer to that answer than ever before.
guys, I want to move away from LLMs. I mean, it's like
All
that
right.
no, LLMs I believe is a commodity, right? We've talked about this. You can ask a question, you get answers back. It's important. It's important, but it's the real value to Tesla and to Tesla investors and to the car is things like, did you guys see where they now discovered in the code that in the Tesla app, as you get closer to the Tesla, what do they call that? That cafe, that cafe that's opening up in Santa Monica.
Yeah,
Was
that's
that
the diner.
the diner? The diner's about to open up, and when you get close to that, a whole new page opens up in the Tesla app that lets you order, and it becomes a menu. So now, if you have this intelligent Grok built in, it could on the fly create you apps, like functional apps that can happen wherever you happen to be. Let's say you get to the airport and all of a sudden an app appears there that it created on the fly, right? That can now let you do a certain feature or function that you want. This is not just answering; it's actually going to create things.
I don't think I don't think that's how it would happen. But I like what you're thinking. I
Yeah,
like the idea of I'm going to Taco Bell and I'm in the line for the drive-through. Why do I have to wait till I get up there? Just have it pop up, and that should plug into whatever system that they have to print out order tickets, right? Like I think that'd be pretty cool. There should be a Chipotle menu. I'm on my way to Chipotle. Let me just put in what my order is, and it goes. Like that, I think is a great idea. And to your point, it only comes up when you're in the vicinity. Like I like that ability as well. I like this, man.
yeah.
See,
There's a
this is
lot of yeah.
sorry, last thing. This is where I get really excited. Like I never thought about that. And Brian, like we were talking about with the orchestration, but like when you say these things out loud, it's like, oh yeah, obviously, like duh. But it's one of those things that it's what's amazing about technology, right? Where you don't know, like the things seem so obvious once you're in it, but before you get into it, you're like, I don't know. Like I can't think of the new jobs that'll be created. I can't think of the new services that'll be created. But like this is where you start to see like, the imagination of what could happen, or why am I gonna wait till I get up there? Just do it now. Well, like, I don't know. Sorry. I
Yeah.
I
Disruption is
get
impossible to spot. If
yeah.
you go back and look at all the amazing film footage from the past 100 years trying to predict the future,
Yeah.
it's fun to see what they got right, but it's hilarious to see what they got wrong.
A and the funniest part is that once you're in it, you're like, "It's so obvious."
Right? How did we not know that the entire internet would be girly pictures? Mm.
Oh, we
Mm.
get different pictures.
Mm. Yeah, ever since I installed AdBlock, there's no hot singles in my area. It's very weird.
Wow. I guess Herbert's not around.
No, I'm asking Grok a question. Maybe I can share that.
I did ask Grok
Where
about the
where are
pets,
the
and it gave me
hospitals?
some ideas, but I don't think they're particularly interesting. Josh the Badger, it's all right.
Yeah, so I asked Grok. I asked, where are we now? Here we are. I said, okay, um, list out 10 things Grok 3 can be used by Tesla to make their cars and robotaxi more effective. So enhanced voice commands could enable more natural conversational voice interactions to control the vehicle functions, right? Find me a scenic route home, warm up the car, but not too much. Like one thing I really want, I can't
Ask
believe
it.
doesn't exist today, is a simple thing. When I'm getting close to home, my Nest temperature should go up. So simple as that. Or when I'm getting closer to my car temperature should go up and should know if I want if it's cold
Wait,
outside, it should know to heat it. If it's hot outside, it should know to air condition it. And I know that
Herbert,
there's
you can
ways
do
I
that
can
already.
set it. I know you
Hey, you can
can,
do that
but
already.
I I have to use Nest to function that to make that happen. But you know what I mean? Like simple things like that.
He
It's
wants
literally
it
in
to
the
just
app.
happen.
It's
Yeah.
literally
In
in the
which
app.
app?
In the Nest app.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, in the Nest app, I know. Real-time navigation assistance, autonomous driving optimization. I think that's what you were talking about, Brian. Personalized driver experience, right? Learn individual preferences, music, taste, temperature. Okay, yeah. Predictive maintenance alerts. Pretty boring stuff here so far.
Not
Passenger
yeah.
interaction in robo taxis.
You gotta work
What's
on
the
your
best for
prompt
that?
engineering.
Okay, go
Put
ahead.
this
Help
in.
me out. You help me out. Yeah, yeah.
Well, put this in. It's got nothing to do with what you wrote, but just type this in.
Okay,
Right?
good.
How would uh write the company name?
What are you talking about? Tesla?
Yep.
Grok? Tesla?
No, Tesla. Yep.
Okay.
Go about running Grok 3 in the vehicles with the current compute capabilities
Mm-hmm.
that hardware 4 has.
Mm-hmm.
Would this next period, would this have to be 100% cloud, or could this workload be split into a hybrid model? Oh, and you didn't even click think. Oh, come on.
Think? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
you have to click think. So copy and paste that whole thing, and yeah, go up, redo the prompt. No, you put up. Yep, Command V. Yep, there you go. All right. No, you got to keep think. Why you keep unchecking? Yeah, okay,
Oh,
now
that's
enter.
I think I did, but
No,
okay.
you didn't. You're thinking wrong. See, now it's thinking. See
Okay.
how it's taking its
All right.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
You're. Have you
You're
guys read?
giving it more chance. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you read "Attention Is All You Need"? I think this is called.
Uh-huh.
That's like the GPT discovery white paper.
Nope.
Uh-huh.
But that's what's happening here. We're increasing its attention window.
All right.
So,
See what it says.
see, it's now it's actually thinking through this.
Okay. It says it thought for 27 seconds to address how Tesla would run Grok 3 in vehicles equipped with hardware 4. Okay, first he has to understand hardware 4, requirements for Grok 3, evaluating local processing, cloud-based model, hybrid possibility. That's
A
what you're
lightweight
saying,
model of
lightweight
power
model.
command.
Mhm.
Let's see, task CD simple voice command like.
Complex queries, trip
Distilled.
planning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. So it's exactly how I was thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Practical considerations, connectivity, power efficiency, using cloud-based assistance function. Well, switch style, 100% cloud model. Oh, that's a really good point, actually.
This is compelling television for our viewers, but I feel like we
Okay.
might have better
Yeah.
uses of it.
I was trying to get it to give us examples of other ways that Grok 3 could actually create.
Well,
what can it be used to do things that are novel? That's what I want it to be.
yeah, but I was trying to give. I'm trying to show, like, if you really want to see what Grok 3 can do, a question the way I had there is really going to show you how you can really unlock it. Like, if
Mhm.
you just give it like a general, like high level, once you send this question or prompt, like you're only gonna get so much. It's not gonna be that great.
So since we're talking convergence, can we talk about the convergence between bots and semi and what that can mean to shipping?
Mm.
because I think that's room for excitement. Yes, you can. First of all, a lot of semi truck drivers like to drive a little over the speed limit because time is money. But if time is no longer money, if only money is money, then we'll have semis with better attention spans, less distractions, undistractable, going at the most ideal and reasonable speed, platooning to maximize aerodynamic efficiency. And perhaps in the beginning, we have one driver per 10 trucks or 5 trucks. Maybe we start building cabless haulers. Maybe we just throw one bot in the back
Yeah.
to help at the warehouse or fix a flat or whatever it is that needs to be done. What does this convergence mean to society, really?
Yeah, I
That's
was
a really
talking
long
to a
prompt.
I was talking to a trucker who was telling me that this was like 2 or 3 years ago, and he said no, they'll always need a human in even if you have a platooning, semis platooning each other and they're all in FSD because there's things like opening gates, there's things like putting your key card somewhere, filling out forms, and yeah, now that you have the bot and you have AI, it's all coming together at this point, all at the same friggin' time. Like by next year, 2 years from now, yeah, all these wonderful things where it's like really, even if you still do need one human, but still, it's all possible now.
But that human could effectively be on call, but in the cab. They could sleep, they could read, they
Right.
could browse the internet, and just be available if something comes up sometime during the 2-day journey. That would be the easiest job in the world. And because it doesn't require attention, you could also, do whatever else you want while you're doing it.
Like what?
Well, like be online, like play games, like listen to a podcast, write a book, not paint, it'd be a little bumpy, but other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think my take is that you won't need a human. Um,
It'd be a regulatory thing, if anything. I don't think you need. I think the bot would absolutely be able
yeah.
to do it. I think it would just be like some kind of weird holdover, vestigial feature of a
I
truck.
just,
Can you believe they still have humans in there?
yeah, I can't think of a use case where you actually need a human. That's the thing. Or
Yeah.
honestly, or even Optimus. I can't even think of a
Yeah.
use case.
Putting if you have a breakdown, you're supposed to put the triangles out at a specific distance behind the truck. I don't know how you do that without something leaving the truck to do it. I mean, you know what? Never mind. You would have an RC car on the bottom of the trailer that just drives it back.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than any human or the Optimus.
Yeah, or you could just build into the truck such big like indicators that like it just. I mean, I think
There are
like I
solutions.
really can't. Yeah, I really can't think of a single reason why you would need a human or an Optimus. Like
Mm.
Hmm.
like you're not gonna pay humans all that because there's a keypad. You would rather go and tell the people who have keypad, hey, we'll update this for you, just so I don't have to pay a human. You know?
While I can agree with what you're saying in principle, I also think that you don't need a spare tire. Tesla definitely believes you don't need a spare tire. A lot of drivers would disagree. Jay Leno very audibly disagreed with the idea of not having a spare tire on his Plaid
He's
because he
also old.
keeps. Yeah, well, that's hard to argue.
Yeah.
But there are people as old and older than Jay. So
Yeah.
Um,
But
okay, so yeah,
yeah.
what I think what we're talking about here, right, is like we have the smartest AI now. It's coming out there. Okay, that's fine. Let's say it's not the smartest AI, but it's one of the best AIs out there that's going to be implemented in Tesla's cars and bots. How
I
could
think you
that
can say the
not be
smartest.
such? It's very likely, right? I mean, like we've just been
I
saying
mean,
here that
I've been playing
yeah,
with it for the last
yeah,
like 14 hours, like actually playing with it.
yeah,
And it's the first time I've like genuinely been impressed with any kind of LLM. Like it's like don't get me wrong, like the first time when you first experienced ChatGPT, you're like, oh my god, this is wild. But like since then, it's kind of just been like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But now it's like to me it feels like we went from V11 to V12 is what it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, in their internal tests, it looks like that they are beating. So we'll need to see if this is replicable.
Yeah.
But more
Wait till they open their
importantly,
APIs,
the
then we'll see.
OpenAI's, and then also it's like this reasoning ability, right? So they're saying this isn't just, you were impressed with ChatGPT answering questions, but now this is like you're going to be so blown away by this ability to reason and think, and that's going to be the big thing. But we're getting closer and closer to this indistinguishable, like the smartest that an AI smarter than any human and AI smarter than all humans combined. And then that's embedded in the cars and the bots. Like somebody was saying, oh, it's just kind of gonna be a commodity. Yeah, but there are some humans that are smarter than other humans. Some humans are funnier than other humans. And so it's like, which it's going to be, there's a level of difference between what you're going to experience with Tesla's cars and bots versus others. And then, like we've been saying, it's not just the interface with the customer, it's going to be the how it's used throughout the company. And that also is going to just accelerate everything. Everything's come together. Convergence is the word that Brian was using for Tesla. Best AI in the world, the best full self-driving in the world, the best bots in the world, and how they all work together. It's happening now. It's happening. If not this year, it will be happening next year. How incredible is this?
Incredible. 10 out of 10.
Very. Yeah. Very.
Big, credible.
Now, do you guys? So I've been asking this question to a lot of people, and I don't get any good answers out of it. Which is, how does having the best AI, right, Grok 3 being used and the biggest supercomputers in the world by XAI, how does that help Tesla? And the question I'm asking is like, does that help Tesla's FSD get even that much better? And some people will say, no, Tesla has their own Colossus and they're building their own. Others will tell me that, well, actually, Tesla is able to reuse some of the supercompute that XAI is using. And some of them are saying, well, of course, there's going to be cross transfer. When you see a smart AI like Grok, that's going to just make FSD even smarter and better. Like there's ways that you can actually integrate them. What's your thoughts about that? Are they two separate things that there's no connection at all? Or is there ways that if you see progress in Grok 3, there's going to be progress in FSD?
I'll let Nick take that one. That's beyond my scope.
I mean, I'm just going to share an opinion. No, I think they're two isolated entities. I mean, FSD is not an LLM. All right, you're not going to train it. You're not going to architect it like you would an LLM. An LLM is also a lot different than FSD. I mean, one, we're having to label tons of video and have video input and refine that, and we're being very selective. And there's there's not just the video input, but there's also the accelerator, the brake, right? Where we have to create a worldview with all the cameras and kind of stitch all that together. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. Whereas LMs is text in, text out, right? And that's way more straightforward. As far as the compute goes, I was telling you this yesterday, Herbert. I don't think that Tesla, when it comes to FSD, is compute constraint anymore. I think, if anything, that curve's becoming very logarithmic, meaning it's not an exponential need. Now it's kind of starting to flatten out because I think they're at a point where FSD, they're getting to it's solved good enough to be able to put robotaxis out there. Obviously, you know, the long tail of the nines continues as it always will, no matter what. But it's improving. It's gotten to a point where I don't think compute's the limiting factor. It will be for Optimus. Optimus is a whole nother thing, right? It's everything in the physical world, right? Like from all the things that you think are very hard to like the little things you take for granted. Like I just picked up this paper cup and I'm not destroying it by squeezing it too hard, right? I don't have to think about that, but I just do it naturally. But these are things that have to get learned, and there's a lot to that. But I don't think Tesla has its own money. Tesla has their own resources. XAI has their own. I think they're completely independent. The cross pollination could come from, hey, we're stuck on this problem. Could you take a look? XAI did not stack up those clusters on their own. I would bet you any amount of
Right.
money Tesla's team was in there helping them, right? That's why they were able to stand it up so quickly. Those guys have not done this before. The NVIDIA guys have not done this before, right? So this is all novel. The only people who have done something like this are people who either work at Tesla or maybe work at X. That's it. And guess what? The Tesla people are the ones that are helping people at X too.
Yeah,
So
they did.
I think that's where you see the cross pollination. So a lot of the guys at XAI, they might discover new techniques, maybe new ways to distill or to compress, or they might make a new discovery of a more efficient way to architect something that then Tesla could use, right? So there might be the sharing of knowledge and cross pollination on people and teams and working together, or getting a second set of eyes on things. So that's possible, but I don't think you're going to see hardware moving from Tennessee to Texas. I mean, Tesla's got plenty of money. Tesla's got more money than what XAI has. They can buy things a lot faster than what XAI can. And I don't see that being the factor. If anything, I would say it would probably go the other way. Would be Tesla selling their gear to XAI. I would see that being the more likely path, because you're going to need more, better, faster compute for Optimus than you will for an LLM, I think. So I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think there's anything there.
Mm. Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
you
I
hate
don't
the
think.
answer. You don't like the answer,
No,
but I think that's
well, I
the
guess I'm
actual
just
answer.
I'm just piecing together what I'm hearing from different people, right? So I don't know the answer, of course. We're not. They're not saying that they're going to have to move hardware. They just can rent the space, and that if you've got 100,000 H100s already, and
Well,
you're building the next B200s, you could use that 100,000. And there was an article that did already kind of say that FSD was being trained in Memphis Colossus supercompute. And so, yeah, people are saying, no, that's not true, but it could have been true because they're using that, they're given the chance to take some compute time to work out their time too. But yeah, no,
it's
Tesla's
just
going to
because
create
there's
their
an
own.
article. When
Right,
you say there's an article, that makes me
right,
think that's not true.
right. No, I get you. I'm not saying that that's Bible, but I don't see why they wouldn't. They've always shared resources with each other, and I don't see why if they needed it. And you're saying they may not have needed it.
When have they ever? When has that ever happened?
Yeah, like you're saying, Tesla needs is no longer. You're saying Tesla's. You don't think that they're compute constrained, but again, when I share
If it,
with the ARK Invest in their analysis, and again, who knows if they're the experts, but they're saying that as Tesla gets to 100,000 H100 compute, that's when you get to the 10,000 miles between disengagements, and then once you get to 200,000 compute, that's when you're going to get to the safe as a human. That's their analysis.
I
They
think that's
think it's going to
lazy.
happen by October. Right. But I mean, it's possible that Elon already believes we're already as safe. Didn't Ashok and Elon say that we're going to be as safe and a human by June of this year, which is like, a few months from now. So they've got the plans. They've got that, in place. Yeah. They may not need XAI. That's kind of like, sure, if they have it, maybe they'll use it. If they don't need it, then they don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anything, I think what you could see is there be a mutual, um, like if you really wanted me to stress my mind to think about how they would share something, Tesla would get elements of Grok for free.
Yeah.
In return, XAI would get video data, Optimus data to be able to improve their LLMs.
Yeah.
That could be a mutually cost offsetting, so no one has to pay anyone
Makes
anything
sense.
else.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see that being a wash, and that's how they could work together. But not when it comes to hardware, that comes to compute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess what all that matters is honestly is that Elon companies are building the largest supercomputers in the world. They're doing it so much faster than everyone else, and that's the game. That's the AI wars that we're facing right now. And I'm just like I'm just blown away that we have access to the smartest AI in the world at this point. Just that point alone should make Tesla investors really excited. But you combine that with the smartest FSD in the world and the smartest bots in the world, or the most bots in the world. That's going to be the most, what's the word that he uses, right? Capable.
I agree with everything Nick said, especially about training Optimus. A car has wheels, it doesn't have fingers. The tasks expected of a car involve strictly transportation and not bonking into things. Well, Grok has to also not, Optimus has to also not bonk into things, but then it has to understand what a screwdriver is. So there will be, no matter how much compute we get, I do not see a time in the immediate horizon when we would not have a task that needs to be solved or refined. And this is all, this is one of those rare points in history where a bunch of technologies come together at once to form something greater than the sum of its parts. And I don't know. I don't know what to expect, except this is Tesla. The only thing you can expect is the unexpected. So I am grateful that I started my channel before AI got good enough to replace me, because there is a rumor that my fans actually appreciate me. So I'm gonna cling to that.
cling to it. Okay, so we are Tesla bulls, right? So are we being blinded? I'll ask you these questions. What is the likelihood that full self-driving robotaxi is a solvable problem? And what's the likelihood that robots at Tesla's Optimus is going to be a real business, right? Are you both saying now 90+%? Are you at the 50% mark? Where are you at with those two?
I love your sense of humor. I'm saying yes and yes. I'm saying it's not if, it's when on both, Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next topic. This is
Next.
silly. This
Yeah.
is there's
Will they
0% chance
yeah.
that
I mean,
doesn't happen.
The only
why
question is
why
when.
why is that a silly question? Yeah.
Be-
Because it'll take 10 million years for man to fly in a powered aircraft in 2 weeks. So there's everything's impossible until it isn't. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're sufficiently confident it is not an oncoming train this time. But it's why can't it be solved? Just because it hasn't been solved yet doesn't mean it can't be. And the improvements we're seeing are confident. I'm absolutely confident. And bots, we are way past what would count as a minimum viable product. If they wish to release it if we hit a wall we didn't see coming, and bots it's impossible for them to get better than they are today, they'll release them. They just release them. They're already good
enough. They'll
enough.
be able to be useful and still have a huge market and still sell. Exactly. Yeah.
When it comes to like FST, the, the reason I say it's like it's a silly question because it's 100% it's going to happen, like 100%. If there was more than 100%, I would say that number. It's like you have somebody who just had a pick six. They're on the 97-yard line, and you're like, are they going to score a touchdown? I, I mean, they got 3 yards to go. They got a whole step to go. Are they going to score a touchdown? And it's like, I don't need to see them in the end zone to know they're going to score the touchdown. I know, like I see it. I know what happens. I see his momentum. I see the inertia. I see where the ball is. There's no one even near him. Everyone's still back on the 20-yard line. Like, short of an assassination, short of like a alien comes and pushes him backward, like he's gonna score a touchdown.
I would say this isn't that. This is a field goal from the 30. You could miss. It has happened. It really doesn't, but it can. Especially with bots, we're definitely there. With FSD, I'd say we're there. We're there.
Yeah,
It's just
I drive it every day. Like I
So
drive it
do I,
so
Nick. Yeah.
much. I drive it so much that it's like that's why it's such a silly question to me. Like maybe if you don't drive it as much as I do, or you guys do, or you haven't seen the evolution. Like if you started on this on 9 or 10 or even 11, and you are where we are now, you're like, this is just it's not even a question. Like, and you're right. You can say like, well, why do you say that? It's like I can't explain to you an experience with words, like the knowledge coming from doing something. It's like I just have so many hours under the belt. I have my 10,000 plus hours with FSD. Like
Yeah.
and I've seen the evolution. Like I know now. If you ask me, is it going to be done in on May 31st and perfect all that? No, I can't answer that question. I could tell you it's 100% going to be done in the next 24 months. I could tell you that. Like
Yeah.
unequivocally, I could tell you that.
See, I don't go that far, but the question was, is it solvable? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. But I would have said within 24 months ago. But it's we are watching the gaps close, not just one by one, but handful by handful, to the point where the number of consistent complaints is limited and well understood. Flat school bus lights, things like that are. I need it to recognize that the front of my house is the front of my house, not the alley. That's a feature that they'll just add. It's not
Yeah.
something wrong with the FSD software. It's just a feature that hasn't been switched on yet. Because when it comes to a robo taxi, sometimes you will need to specify the pickup spot. It wants to grab me in front of that puddle, or in a way that's blocking the pedestrian crosswalk, whatever it may be. Those features will come, and the list of things it can't do is getting short.
I think it's inevitable, right? You guys know this Ray Kurzweil, and he wrote a book called The Singularity is Near. And he's since like decades ago, he was predicting that AI would become human level intelligence by 2029. And what was funny about what happened was every 10 years they would do a survey of all the leading AI experts out there and ask them, when will human level get to intelligence, AI become human level intelligence? And they would say like 99% of them say not in my lifetime or 100 years from now. And then every 10 years, you'll see that all of a sudden, like 60% of them say this, and then 50% of them say this. Well, of course, today, it's not even 2029 anymore, shockingly, right? I don't know what the number is, but let me guess 90% of AI experts now say that it's happening, it's already happened. It's already happened. We're at human intelligence today. If not, it will certainly be there by 2029. Depends on your definition. This is how the world has changed so quickly. And here's somebody who predicted it, was considered to be crazy, lunatic. And then, of course, as the years go on, he was proven correct because it's this compute. He basically tied it to how fast technology was exponentially growing. And then that's how he was able to easily kind of put down his markers of when will the compute be this smart and so forth. We are at the point now, I don't think anybody's debating at this point, that AIs will be, if there aren't already, smarter than a human. And soon, we're talking about AGI, which is months away, right? Hundreds of months away is what Sam Altman said of when they think that it's going to be AGI, which is smarter than all humans combined together.
Do,
And then,
do you?
so now, yeah, you combine that with, well, what's going to happen with full self driving? What's going to happen with humanoid robots? It's inevitable. And it's happening faster than anybody's predicting at this point.
Do you guys think that, like, say Grok 3, for example, do you think it's smarter than a human right now?
Yes.
And before you answer, I just want to contextualize what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I don't mean the smartest human in the world. I'm just saying if we took the median human being, is it smarter than them? Because I would say yes. Yeah, I would say it could be smarter than me because I can't answer questions as clearly, concisely. I can't explain things in a way that it does. Um, I might understand a question Brian poses to me better than it, but that's my ability to understand the question Brian's asking me. If Brian would rephrase it, then who wins? Like so. So, okay, I got one thing on it. I can understand the question being asked better. Does that make me smarter, or does that make me good in one domain?
So I'm going to agree with Nick on this. I'm going to agree with both of you on this one because uh, just like the Turing test itself, once it was surpassed, we didn't even think about it anymore. Everything
Yeah.
Yeah,
surpassed it. You can't
good point.
tell anymore. And have LLMs gotten smarter than humans, or have we just realized how dumb the average human is? If you and I play with Grok or ChatGPT or any of them, we give it challenges. We give it hard questions that we know the answer to and go, ha ha, you got it wrong.
What if it
Great.
did us?
Right. But now go ask a random human being the same question and they will have a worse answer than Grok. So that is, to me, evidence that it's certainly better than the average person. And even though its jokes were absolutely terrible, they were still real jokes. I'd say it's obviously funnier than the average human because the average human is not terribly funny. If they had a good sense of humor, they'd appreciate me more. But no, I think you're both right. I think we are at that point. Yeah. So
I mean, it's regularly hitting over 90% with it when it takes human tests. And again, it depends on which subject, but that's the whole point, right? This thing can be smarter than you as a pharmacist, as a doctor, as a math expert, physics, in every topic you can think of.
Yeah,
It's like 90%. So is it 100%? No. There you can you find somebody who's the smartest math guy in the world is still smarter than Grok? Yeah, for sure.
but
But
even then, for how long,
right.
right?
It's that's the
You can
point.
be
Yeah.
for an hour, for 2 hours, and then what? Like,
Yeah.
that's a very good point. It's just like when you passed the Turing test, you didn't pass it, you blew past it. Once Watson could beat a human at chess, it was over. You don't stop there. You blow past it. Herbert and I were talking about the computer that solved Go and how it then the new one played against the version of it. And then you play against the other AIs and it reaches a point where it's just ridiculous.
which
And
is what DeepSeek did. So,
yeah, and these versions of all these LLMs are going to do to complex problems what calculators did to math problems. And it may have already happened, but we were too busy being meatbags in the real world to understand it.
fascinating.
So back to Tesla though, right? The convergence, because Elon XAI is owned by Elon, we're assuming, right, that Tesla will have full access to that, complete capabilities. He's already talked about it being integrated into Tesla cars and bots, and to going to Mars. So it's very likely that that is what's happening. You've got access to the smartest AI integrated into the smartest FSC, the smartest bots, the most bots in the world, the most cars in the world. This is unbelievable. This conversion of these three and more, right? Just AI in general. This is happening this year. I've repeated this a couple times this show, but my point is that this is such a big deal that, like, name me any other company that has like pieces of this, sure, but all of it together at the same place.
Yeah, it's unusual. And if you find me that company, let me know. I may be interested in buying a few shares. I don't see it today. As a reminder, I do have an after show where I try to answer as many questions as I can. If you're watching on Herbert's channel or my channel, it should redirect automatically there. But I'm going to take a quick break so that I can have some rest for being wicked. Nick, a pleasure to chat with you for the first time in 2 weeks. I'm sorry we couldn't catch up when you were in town, but it was the day of the big game, man. What am I supposed to do?
You know what the worst part was? I booked that meeting and I completely didn't realize it was Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
I know. Luckily, I work with a whole bunch of nerds and none of them were watching Super Bowl, so they didn't hate me.
All right.
I mean, the one company could be NVIDIA, right, Nick? But their approach, NVIDIA, is, yeah, I know it's no, but I mean, their approach is to partner with as many bot companies as possible, to partner with as many autonomous car companies as possible. And then they're providing the tools, they're providing the simulation. So they've got the access to AI. I mean, they are mostly tools, but still, the AI. And then now you've got all these partners. So in that way,
Home
maybe
Depot.
they can, yeah.
They're just Home Depot. That's all. You need Home Depot, but you know, they're not actually doing the real things, the
Yeah.
hard things.
I think the moment when people will start realizing the topic we're talking about today is we have not actually seen or are able to speak to our cars and to the bot yet. And we were given a snippet of that when we saw Figure partner with OpenAI, and you saw that demo where you were able to, they showed the guy talking to the bot and telling me, give me the apple and having conversation with it. But that was a demo. But imagine when this really does roll out. Are you thinking that, yeah, so I've got, I can do that with my phone right now, right? I can open up ChatGPT there. I can open up Grok and talk to it, and it talks to me back. Is that what this is? Or is there going to be some like, whoa, this car is alive. This car has a personality. This car knows me really well. And maybe there's things I can do with it now that I can't do before that makes it easier, like real functionality, not just asking questions. That's what I'm expecting to happen. It may not happen right away, not right upon first launch, but this is a real difference, right? You're not going to look at this thing as an inanimate object anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things too, right? Like it would be cool if it becomes just like I know Meta's gonna be working on this, but like a true assistant that travels with you from your phone into your car, right? Where, like like just imagine it's not just in the car. It's Grok travels with you, right? And when you're in the car, sorry, yeah, phone call. But when you're in the car, it'll tell you like, hey, you got a meeting coming up. Do you want me whatever? Or you can say, hey, can you go book me a restaurant, a reservation for whatever, whatever. Like that would be cool. That'd be really cool. And it starts to remember your preferences, right? Like to your point, if you said like, hey, thinking about dinner tonight, like what are some good restaurants? You could be like, well, you haven't been to XYZ in a while. You want to make a reservation there again? And I'm like, "No, not really. I'm feeling more of this." Okay, well, what about this? This new restaurant just opened up. Looks like they have a reservation for 2 at 7. Does that work? Like things like that. Like that would be that's the
That's
next
mind
level.
blowing. Yeah, that happens. Do you
Yeah.
think that Elon's going to create a device? I mean, we know that he said that he's not going to do a phone unless he's forced to, but could he create glasses, something? Because otherwise, like you said, then you're only
Oh,
able to communicate it when you're in front of a bot or when you're in front of a car, inside a
I don't
car.
I don't think or
They
your
need
phone.
it. You can
Or
just
your phone.
app. You're going to rely on the app and letting Apple decide what your app can do.
I mean, how's that different than anything else?
You're okay with
Like,
that? Do you think that that's what he'll just do?
I
There's
mean,
no intention
Apple's
or
not
need.
letting you. Like
Mhm,
like Apple's not letting them do anything. I mean, I could install the app from browser if I wanted to on my phone. Like there's
mhm.
nothing stopping me from doing that. Um, but I think it doesn't make sense. Hardware doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because I'm either on my computer, I'm in front of my TV, I got my phone, I'm in my car, or I'm interfacing my bot. Like, why do I need another hardware? That's every domain of life that I have. This goes with me everywhere. My computer pretty much goes with me everywhere. When I'm in the car, I don't use my phone or my computer, but I'm in my car, so I got that. If I'm at home and I'm not watching I'm watching TV, you got it in there. And then you have a bot that moves through the world with you. I mean, like it's all the domains have been hit.
I've got this great idea, Nick. You want to invest in a company? It's a pin that you put on your chest here. You have
I
access
just
to AI at any moment in time.
I just saw it the HP, don't worry. But not the hardware. We got rid of that part. That
I
was the
actually
funniest part.
do. I actually do love the Meta glasses. So I was given it in Christmas,
Do you
and
have
I
them? Can I
don't.
see what they look like?
Well, it's
Like
in
are
my
they chunky?
car. They're no, they're Ray Bans. They look just like a Ray Ban sunglasses. They're in my car because I go for hikes every weekend, and I'm shocked at how much I love it. So I put it on, and it's got over the ear audio, so I don't have to wear these, AirPods or earbuds. And I don't. I mean, that's mostly what I'm using it for, just over the ear audio. But I can take photos and video, which I take occasionally, right? Just saying hey Meta, take a photo. Hey Meta, take a video. Easy. That's about it. Now I'm not using it to ask any questions. Like you think that was what it's designed for, right? AI available to you. I'm not using it for that really often. I'd rather pull up my Grok and pull it and ask a question there if I needed to and have the full
Yeah.
long answer. So I'm shocked
Yeah.
that but I just like the over the ear audio is actually pretty nice, So, and then next
No, I
year they're
agree.
supposed to come out the ability to in the lenses you're supposed to see your, let's say your phone or watch a movie, and that's what I'm hoping to happen.
Yeah. I mean, like that'd be cool, like that would be cool. But I don't think Tesla needs to get in that space. They got
Yeah,
enough going on. Let Meta have the sunglasses. They can have that. Um,
yeah.
that'll, if anything, that would disrupt Apple. That's not gonna disrupt Tesla. And that can disrupt humanoids and autonomous
Well, so
vehicles.
the argument of why Tesla should get
Ecosystem.
into smart glasses is that just like you had every single car out there capture the videos from every driving data, then they took those videos and then trained FSD to train the bot to do something. If you had thousands of humans put on glasses and you do your daily work, opening the fridge, opening cupboards, pouring water into a glass, you could take all those videos and train the bot much faster. Here I am playing tennis. Here I am, sewing
Yeah.
clothes. You can take all those
Nah,
videos. No,
I don't think it works like that. There's too many points of data that you need. Um, like yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you're taking the problem statement and the solution to it, you're simplifying it so much that you think it could just be, oh, it's glasses. There you go. Like, no, there's so much more than that. You need to understand like each joint, the component. You need to be able to track that pressure, dexterity.
yeah, a
Like,
full bodysuit, right?
yeah, it's all the inputs, right? And so the best way to gather that data is to do what they have been doing,
Yeah,
which is
teleoperation. Yeah,
start with just humans, yep, teleoperate. And then once you've got a good enough baseline, like a baseline architecture where it's not strenuous to understand how to pick a cup up and not destroy it, right? Like you don't want that. So once you get that baseline where I can pick up a paper cup, a mug, whatever, and you get your baseline architecture, then it makes sense to scale out production for, say, a couple thousand humanoids that then can go out now that they have that baseline and collect more data by doing more different things. And I think that's how you scale
yeah.
the solution to the
It's going
problem
to
now.
be it's scaled by bots, right? The most if you can get 100,000 bots before everyone else can get even a 10,000 or 1,000, you'll have that much more data, and then
Yeah.
you just scale from there. Yeah, it's a race.
Yep.
Okay, well, 2025 is fantastic and things are happening way faster than we realize. And it's great news. This happened just a couple days ago. They're announcing that Grok 3 is the smartest AI in the world. And even more important was the speed that they put up these 100,000, NVIDIA H100 equivalent compute. That is what matters. Because if they can build even more of that, right? Elon said he's got a goal of 1 million H100 equivalent
Mhm.
compute. This is
Yeah.
crazy how much what then can be possible at that point. So, and it's a good thing that Tesla investors have access to that. That's all really I wanted to just hammer home.
Don't
This is
sell
the
your shares.
convergence. Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. See you guys next week. Bye bye.
Cheers.